Every day, Americans, and people worldwide, are inundated with striking images and dire warnings of climate catastrophe, extreme weather forecasts, dramatic visuals of rising sea levels, melting glacier ice, and global protests demanding urgent action. Is climate change the existential crisis we're constantly told it is? Or has the conversation been hijacked by hysteria and hyperbole? Elon Musk, tech mogul and disruptor extraordinaire, is challenging the narrative, and it's causing a stir. Let's dive deep into what he said, why it matters, and whether it's time to rethink the way we approach this global issue. Elon Musk versus climate change hysteria, a new perspective. Act 1. The state of the climate debate. Climate change is everywhere. Headlines, conferences, and even your social media feed. Experts, activists, and world leaders sound the alarm daily, warning of catastrophic consequences if immediate action isn't taken. The narrative is clear: act now, or face planetary doom. But, is the end of planet Earth near? Grab your popcorn and tinfoil hats, cause we are going to examine some of the alarming predictions that have yet to come true. Harvard biologist George Wald predicted, with a sense of grim finality, that civilization will end within 15 or 30 years unless immediate action is taken. So, according to this timeline, the world should have ended back in 2000. Yet here we are, debating whether it's okay to keep our air conditioners running all summer. In 1970, Barry Commoner, an American cellular biologist, college professor, and politician from Washington University, declared that the environmental crisis threatened the very survival of the world as a suitable place for human habitation. The New York Times even echoed this alarmism, stating humans faced intolerable deterioration. Paul Ehrlich, being Professor Emeritus of Population Studies of the Department of Biology of Stanford University, was a favorite among doomsday prophets. He confidently predicted in 1970 that between 1980 and 1989, 4 billion people, yes, billion, would die in the Great Die-Off. 65 million Americans included. The culprit: overpopulation and food shortages. Life magazine didn't hold back, stating in 1970 that by 1980, urban dwellers would need gas masks just to survive. By 1985, pollution would block half the sunlight reaching Earth. Another gem came from Barry Commoner, who believed organic pollutants would deplete all oxygen in rivers, killing freshwater fish en masse. Meanwhile, Paul Ehrlich thought DDT exposure had slashed life expectancy to just 49 years. Remember ecologist Kenneth Watt's dramatic warning? He declared that by the year 2000, we'd run out of crude oil entirely. Imagine pulling up to a gas station in 1999 and hearing, "Sorry, buddy, we're out of gasoline forever." So, are you seeing a pattern yet? Hint: the prophets of doom were not simply wrong, but spectacularly wrong. But, let's keep going. Perhaps the most ironic prediction came from Kenneth Watt, who in 1970 warned of a coming ice age. According to him, by 2000, temperatures would drop so much it'd kickstart a new glacial period. Harrison Brown of the National Academy of Sciences predicted humanity would run out of metals like copper and zinc by 2000. Meanwhile, Smithsonian Secretary S. Dillon Ripley claimed 80% of species would be extinct within 25 years. And there are many more false climate predictions that we could mention. So why revisit these failed prophecies? Elon Musk offers an alternative perspective, urging us to tackle climate challenges without the hysteria. He advocates for innovation, electric vehicles, solar energy, carbon capture, without resorting to fear tactics. From overpopulation to ice ages, history proves one thing: we're terrible at making accurate doomsday forecasts. Musk's approach reminds us to focus on facts, embrace technology, and take balanced action, not fall into the trap of fear-driven paralysis. But amidst the climate urgency, there's a growing unease among skeptics and thinkers alike. Are these dire warnings based on robust science? Or are they exaggerated to provoke fear and compliance? Elon Musk's recent comments strike right at the heart of this tension, questioning not the existence of climate change, but the alarmism that surrounds it. Act 2. Musk's nuanced perspective. Elon Musk is no stranger to environmental issues. As the mind behind Tesla, he's revolutionized clean energy. Yet Musk remains critical of what he sees as a one-dimensional focus on carbon emissions, arguing that this narrow lens ignores the bigger picture. In a recent tweet, Musk called out climate enthusiasts for overlooking other pressing environmental issues, like biodiversity loss, pollution, and deforestation. Elon Musk, climate change is multifaceted. Musk's argument is simple but provocative. While cutting emissions is important, it's not the only environmental issue worth tackling. The singular focus on fossil fuels has, according to him, sidelined other critical challenges that demand equal attention. And Musk doesn't stop there. He's also warned against rushing into green technology solutions without carefully considering their unintended consequences. For example, electric vehicles require lithium batteries, whose production has its own environmental toll. This points to a crucial question: are we solving one problem only to create another? Act 3. The climate hysteria industry. Musk's critique isn't just about misplaced priorities, it's about the culture of hysteria that has taken over the climate debate. He argues that fear-driven narratives have given rise to an industry of doomsday prophets and eco-warriors, where emotional manipulation often trumps critical thinking. Is fear clouding judgment? Think about it. Every extreme weather event is presented as definitive proof of the apocalypse, even when the science is more nuanced. And anyone who dares to question this alarmism, they're often labeled a climate denier, regardless of their actual views. This culture of fear stifles healthy debate and discourages innovation. Musk's call for a more rational, evidence-based approach reminds us of the importance of nuance, something often missing in today's polarized discourse. Act 4. Climate change, a multifaceted challenge. At the core of Musk's comments is a recognition that climate change is not an isolated issue. It's part of a larger web of environmental challenges that include habitat destruction, overfishing, and air and water pollution. By fixating on carbon emissions alone, we risk ignoring these interconnected crises. Some experts echo Musk's concerns. Dr. Patrick Moore, co-founder of Greenpeace, has criticized the narrow climate narrative, arguing that carbon dioxide is not the enemy, it's the foundation of life on Earth. Meanwhile, others warn that focusing too much on decarbonization could lead to neglect of other equally urgent issues, like soil degradation and freshwater shortages. Act 5. The cost of alarmism. Beyond the science, there's another elephant in the room: the economic and social costs of climate alarmism. Policies aimed at rapidly cutting emissions, like banning gas stoves or mandating electric vehicles, often come with hefty price tags and unintended consequences. Take Europe's energy crisis, for instance. Over-reliance on renewable energy sources without adequate planning has led to skyrocketing energy prices and increased reliance on coal. Ironically, the very fossil fuel these policies were meant to phase out. Musk has cautioned against similar missteps, urging policymakers to balance ambition with pragmatism. Act 6. Alternate perspectives on climate change. Not everyone agrees with Musk, of course. Mainstream climate scientists argue that the urgency of the situation demands immediate action. They point to rising sea levels, extreme weather patterns, and global temperature increases as clear evidence that we're running out of time. Dr. Michael Mann, an American climatologist and geophysicist and director of the Center for Science, Sustainability and the Media at the University of Pennsylvania, has been quoted stating, "Delaying action could lead to irreversible damage." However, critics like Bjorn Lomborg, author of The Skeptical Environmentalist, argue that alarmism often leads to poor decision-making. Lomborg advocates for smart solutions, like investing in innovation and adaptation rather than imposing draconian measures that could harm economic growth. So, can we adapt instead of panicking? This debate highlights a critical point. Addressing climate change requires balancing urgency with practicality, science with economics, and action with unintended consequences. Act 7. Musk's vision for the future. So, what's Musk's vision for tackling climate change? His actions speak louder than words. Through Tesla, he's championed renewable energy and electric mobility. SpaceX's Mars ambitions aim to make humanity a multi-planetary species, partly as a hedge against Earth-bound catastrophes. And through initiatives like Solar City, Musk is betting big on clean energy solutions. Musk was recently quoted in an interview saying, "We need to innovate our way out of this." Musk's philosophy is rooted in optimism and innovation. He believes humanity's greatest strength is its ability to adapt and overcome challenges. By shifting the focus from fear to solutions, Musk is challenging us to think bigger and act smarter. Act 8. The conversation we need. Elon Musk's comments have sparked a much-needed conversation. Are we tackling climate change in the most effective way? Or have we been swept up in a wave of hysteria that clouds our judgment? The truth likely lies somewhere in between. Climate change, problem or opportunity? Ultimately, the future of our planet depends on our ability to think critically, act wisely, and collaborate across divides. Whether you agree with Musk or not, his willingness to challenge the status quo is a reminder that progress starts with asking the tough questions. So, what do you think? Is Elon Musk a voice of reason in a sea of hysteria, or is he oversimplifying a complex issue? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more thought-provoking discussions about the future of our planet. Cheers!